to put this as our intro. Oh, it's already on. Okay. And then I go live here. Start.
Audio Jungle.
Alright, we are live. Video is getting there. Okay, looks good.
Where do I get me one of those hats?
I gotta hook you up still. Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. We are live. This is our first real show that we're doing live. So welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, whoever's jumping in here. My name's Dan. I'm joined with my co-host, Drew. We're Reverends, and we love sports. Drew, what's good, man? What's going on with you?
Oh, it's good. It's getting a little warmer here in Manitoba. I tried to go to the outdoor rink today and took one step on the ice and it was all slush. So spring's coming.
Spring is coming. Yeah, it's 8 degrees here tomorrow here in Toronto. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. And let's go.
Golf season coming up.
Golf season coming up. Yeah, I know. You're a pretty good golfer. So that's something I didn't know about you until last year. So I'm trying to catch up. I just really started my first season last year for real. So I'm terrible. And I probably will be terrible for a long time. But you ready for this? You ready to talk some sports?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go. Let's get into some sports reverends. Quick hitter news. MLB spring training has kicked off this week. It's great to have the Blue Jays and baseball back.
The Atlanta Hawks have fired their head coach, Pierce, and Nate McMillan has been named interim head coach.
The NFL's reigning comeback player of the year, Alex Smith, has been cut by the Washington football team.
A touching tribute across the golf world as players wear red to honor Tiger Woods after a life-threatening car accident.
And there's trouble brewing in Baltimore as Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are far apart in contract extension talks. Before we go anywhere else, let us hear a word from our sponsors.
Samara & Jane is an Australian-based accessories retailer with all of the latest fashion trends from around the world. Ladies, update your style game with gorgeous earrings, necklaces, and other jewelry for affordable prices. And guys, you can shop for that special lady in your life too. Use discount code SPORTSREV30 for 30% off your entire order. That's SPORTSREV30 for 30% off your entire order. Use discount code at checkout at samaraandjane.com.
All right. We're starting in the NFL today. J.J. Watt has signed a nice contract. He's gotten his way out of Houston, and he's joining the Arizona Cardinals. He's got a 2-year, $31 million contract, and he's excited. He's ready. It makes the defense on the Arizona Cardinals look pretty scary. So Drew, let's start with that. Do you believe in this Arizona's defense? Where do you think they'll finish this year?
Well, it all depends on how healthy J.J. Watt is. I don't know how productive he's been over the past couple of years. Like, I haven't heard his name in Defensive Player of the Year conversation in a while. Of course, he's excited. I don't hear anyone come out and say I'm not excited after they sign a contract. But I think it's better for J.J. Watt than it is for the Cardinals.
Yeah, probably 31 mil is actually quite a bit for this aging vet. So where?
Yeah, like did Chandler Jones play last year?
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
I think he.
like that's a pretty good combo, but they're both up there in age. Like
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
that's both.
The yeah, so Cardinals defense, they got some big names on there. They got Buda Baker and a bunch of other guys. They are, I think they're going to be a top 10 defense in the league. That's been one of their biggest. I think the feel around the NFL is that they have an offense. It's just that their defense has always been kind of shaky. J.J. Watt kind of brings this veteran presence to make them pretty decent, I think. Cardinals are the real deal, I think, going into next year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they have the names to be a good defense. I don't think the style that Cliff Kingsbury wants to play relies on having a good defense.
Yeah.
I think he wants to run up the score. He wants a game that's like 40-32 or something. like I don't think he cares. It's sort of like the Mike D'Antoni basketball offense. Like he just wants to outscore other teams. He wants to be more creative than the other teams are. He's got Kyler Murray who can do circus act things to DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think defense is a priority of the Cardinals organization. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's a tough division to be in if you want to outscore teams.
True. So, okay. Other than the Bucks, are we agreed on the Bucks defense being the best again this year? Is there a defense that's better?
Yeah,
At least top.
yeah. Like NFC, or are you talking about?
Talking the league.
Are you talking about NFL?
NFL.
I don't know. Maybe I'd have to take a closer look at all the defenses, but
sure.
San Francisco, when they're healthy, is a scary defense. That front is as good as it gets. But yeah, that linebacking core, that secondary in Tampa Bay is not very good. They can be exposed. But I think there's teams that have better defenses. I'd really have to take a closer look and see if I would agree with you on that or not. Well, but they're definitely top 3 or 4 for sure.
Yeah, I like that. I think I can agree with that too. I guess just basically I brought up J.J. Watt because, A, it's a nice signing. I'm happy for him to get out of Houston, that mess in Houston. But it kind of, even after the Super Bowl, I don't know about, well, I guess you grew up with it too, the notion that defense wins championship. I think we kind of saw that in the Super Bowl, that the defense really took over and their defense kind of carried them out throughout that their playoff run. But is that notion still true to this day? Was it ever true? Not even just talking NFL. I'm talking hockey, talking baseball, talking basketball. Does defense win championships?
Yeah, it's something that coaches always like to say, and it sounds really good. Defense wins championships, but defense doesn't mean a whole lot unless you can put points on the board. It's still at the end of the day about outscoring your opponent.
If coach was tuning in right now, he'd come over to Selkirk and slap you. This is all he preached when he coached. That's literally 90% of what he talked about.
I know, but it is. It's a nice motivating thing to say to get your offensive players to care about defense, but you still need your offensive players to be what carries you.
So are you more along the line? Go ahead.
Well, I was even thinking back to the Michael Jordan documentary when Gary Payton, right? They didn't have him play on Michael Jordan because they said, we need you to score. I know you can defend him, but it didn't end up working. But yeah.
So are you more on the end that the best defense is a good offense?
Yeah, for sure. If you can put your opponents out in the first quarter, half, whatever game you're playing, first period, like if you can bury them in the first couple minutes, like that's to your advantage. That is a good defense. because if you're up, then you can just sit back, like not play soft, but play with confidence. Like, yeah, that's just the way I would approach it.
You know,
Maybe it's the wrong mentality. What do you think?
It's tough to say. It's tough to say. I look at a team. I go to the NBA where you look at a team with Brooklyn Nets. They have the best offense of all time statistically, and their defense is atrocious, and yet they're just crushing. They're crushing teams quite handedly. And in games where they're playing back-to-backs or they're on a long road trip, or the first game back after a long road trip, all those games are supposed to be losses, but yet they're still winning, they're still performing, and their defense is horrendous. I know playoff time in basketball, the game does slow down. You saw the strength of the Lakers last year, who won it all. Their strength was their defense. So yeah, I flip back and forth. I think I grew up in that notion of defense wins championship. I just think you have to. I don't know if defense. I don't know if that's the right term. I think you need to have a solid defensive core to yourself. But if you can score while being able to play good enough defense, then that solves all your problems, right? That's like the Kansas City Chiefs. They can score so well and they play good enough defense that, you know, they're back-to-back Super Bowl appearances and almost three in a row, right? So I don't know.
Well, here's the deal. Like Tampa Bay, the Bucks had basically the same defense the year before.
Yeah.
And didn't make the playoffs. So, and the only offensive weapon they really added, right?
They added two.
Tom Brady and Gronk, like
Antonio.
Yeah,
Brown. And the running backs.
But
and like,
well, yeah,
you kind of like
Jameis
Winston, like, kind of put them behind the target, right? Because he had double the interceptions Tom Brady had this year, right? So it's tough. It's a tough situation in that one.
But still, the year before, the Bucks were the number one run defense in the league, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
And no one was talking about them being a championship team.
I think even with me varying on this notion of defense doesn't necessarily win championships, coach is going to have a field day with us. He's going to be mad, and it's going to be fantastic to see him blow up about it.
Well, that's his fault for not being here then.
Yeah, exactly. If he had more defense in his system, maybe he'd be feeling a little better. Yeah. So, okay, that's what we're settling on. Is that a better offense? Is a best offense?
Well, I'll end with this. Okay. No sport does defense matter less than basketball right now. I think there's not a lot of defense being played.
Yeah.
When you talk about the best young players in the NBA, I don't know if you can name one that would be considered a defensive specialist.
Ben Simmons.
Like a lockdown defender.
That's it.
Well,
that's it. But the rest of them aren't at all.
Like they're terrible.
Yeah.
Like terrible.
Like Jason Tatum's a highly rated defender, but he's not a great defender. He's actually not a great defender. He's only an average defender.
He's got all the tools to be a good defender.
Oh yeah, and most of them do. Most of them have all the tools to be. That's why I think it's more about like heart and desire to play defense. But I don't know. I do have to say though, like Frank Vogel, that's his thing, is defense. And Anthony Davis is a guy who makes a huge defensive impact on the game, right? He changes the game. That's kind of like I equate that to Michael Jordan, of how he could change the game on defense as much as he could on offense. Obviously the game has changed, and I think you're right that defense is a less priority, but you know, if you have the player to do so, like Anthony Davis, maybe like a Rudy Gobert in Utah, who's been killing it this year, I think it can play a role, but I don't think it's going to win championships.
Yeah, and that's why I say that. Like, because defense is such a low priority. When you do have a defender like a Rudy Gobert, like Anthony Davis, that does make a huge difference because no one else is playing that kind of defense.
Yeah.
Like even when you talk about defenders, usually guys like to look at blocks and steals. That doesn't make a good defender.
No.
Like sometimes that means you're getting beat and having to chase someone down. Like
For sure. If you look at team defense, you look at a team like the Jazz or the Raptors that actually play good team defense. Even the Celtics play good team defense. But, defense as an individual stat is flawed a lot of the time. So what about hockey?
it's almost
Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say it's almost like a good corner, in football, right?
Right. Exactly.
If you have a good corner in football, they're not getting attacked. So you don't even they don't have as why aren't they leading the league in interceptions? It's like no one's passing their way.
Right. Exactly. And that was Richard Sherman's point through most of his career. No one would toss him that way because they were afraid. And many others like Revis Island. Okay, what about hockey? Hockey I know is different because obviously it's there's a goalie and all that kind of thing. But a team that actually has forwards who back check and obviously defenders that can score. Just I don't know. Talk to me a little bit about hockey and defense and like looking at the Leafs and the Jets and the Canucks. Like they kind of, to me at least, they all kind of that's their weak part is their defense.
Right. Well, this year I think the jump that the Leafs have made is in large part to a mentality that Joe Thornton has brought in, from being a great two-way player. Austin Matthews needs a kick in the butt. Mitch Marner Nylander. Like those guys need help on defense. John Tavares is a very good two-way player. He's been down this year. I don't know what's going on there. Also bringing in TJ Brody on defense to replace Tyson Barrie, who is a little more offensive-minded as a defenseman.
Yeah.
That's been the big turnaround. Freddie Anderson is a good goalie, but he's been facing way too many shots over the last couple of years. Leaving him out to dry.
You've talked about how efficient actually Freddie's been, and I didn't. I was the one that kind of brought it up. I was like, oh, I thought Freddie was actually probably in the bottom half of skill wise, but I think to your credit, you're totally right. It's about that defensive mentality. Did you give a shout out to Wayne Simmons yet? Like, come on.
Yeah, I think the front office needs a good applause this year. Like for the guys they brought in, character guys that play defense, that give the team grit, to allow guys like Austin Matthews to do their thing. Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid are going toe to toe for Hart Trophy right now, in my opinion. And I think Austin Matthews would have the nod based on how well his team's doing at this point in the year.
This point, yeah. We got Ben Council and Colin Beauchamp in our YouTube comments. Ben Council said New Jersey Devils playing the Trap won a championship. That was a while ago. Colin responded, Tampa Bay Lightning won the Cup this year playing a modified Trap style.
Well, here, talking about the Lightning last year, no one's calling the Lightning a defensive-minded team, I don't think. If you are, I don't think you watch many hockey games because, they have one of the best goalies in the entire league in Vasilevsky. But Victor Hedman is a very good defenseman. I would call him more of an offensive-minded defenseman than a lockdown defender. A lot of people would jokingly say that Bogosian, bringing Bogosian from the Lightning last year to the Leafs is what turns it around. You can look into that. Bogosian's terrible. So don't read into that. He just needs to keep stuff out of his nose. That's about it. But yeah, New Jersey Devils, that's probably the last team I can think of. And that was a while ago. That might be 20 years ago. When the Devils won using that Trap style. But since then, it's been run and gun offense, get a hot goalie in the playoffs, and that takes you to the championship.
Yeah, big time. The right timing of getting hot is huge in your playoff run in the NHL. So, okay. I still think we both lie in the same place of defense isn't your championship, whatever you call it, your success factor. It's part of the equation, but it's not your backbone. It can't. I don't think so. And I think maybe older generations, older hockey, older football, older basketball, that would be more arguable. But nowadays, I think it's changed.
Well, it drives the older fans nuts the way they play right now.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like you look at those old Bulls games.
Yeah.
Like even while you're watching the documentary, look at the final scores.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're talking like
Halftime
80s
scores. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
so
it is a cardinal sin to allow a player to go from the 3-point line to the hoop without getting knocked over. Nowadays, you see it every other play. So
well, it helps they're allowed to take 4 steps now. But
yeah, it's true. 4 steps and then another 7 after that. We are going to hear another word from our sponsors. So we're going to be right back in just a moment.
With no sports to watch on TV, esports have been shooting off the charts. What are esports, you may ask? Well, basically, it's competitive video gaming. Esports are fun to watch, and my favorite gamer to watch is a guy named Vandalize. Vandalize plays a variety of consoles and games, including the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What makes him so unique is that he plays these games with the controller upside down. It is a talent unlike any other. You can check his Twitch stream out, and you can find the link in the Sports Reverends Instagram bio, or you can search him up on Twitch, Vandalized, with 2 Z's or Z's. His control will be upside down.
All right, welcome back. We're jumping into some NBA All-Star talk. We kind of went over our NBA All-Stars last podcast. NBA All-Star Weekend is always a fun weekend for me. I don't really care about the game on Sunday or the starters. Last year it was entertaining because they kind of did a tribute to Kobe, and it was a lot more intense. The teams played hard, and they really tried to win, and like even Kyle Lowry was taking charges kind of thing. But the best part for me about NBA All-Star Weekend is always the rookie sophomore game, which is now like turned into World and Team USA, but they still take the rookies and sophomores, the best of the best, and they do a little game that way. It's usually entertaining because they try hard. And then things have changed. We used to look forward to the slam dunk competition, and to me now it's more about the 3-point competition. And we'll get to that in a second. I'll just go through the skills challenge contest. Players are Robert Covington. I don't know why he's in that. Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, Julius Randle, Domantas Sabonis, and Nikola Vucevic. So I guess there's a mix of bigs and littles. It's weird because Chris Paul is the only real point guard. I guess Luka, but Chris Paul's the only real point guard in the skills competition, which is different. Let's pause there for a second. Do you care about the skills competition at all? Skills challenge?
No, it's such a joke. They don't even run hard. No one cares about the skills challenge. And I think the people who care least about it, the guys that are in it.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I can see Chris Paul taking it way too seriously and no one else.
Yes. No coach to bug us about how we don't like Chris Paul. He's a bum. This year's dunk contest is going to be even extraordinarily poor because it has guys in it that are no names once again. And there's only 3 of them this year. There's Anthony Simmons from the Trailblazers, averages about 3 minutes a game. Cassius Stanley from the Pacers. I've never even seen him play. And Obi Toppin, who's been injured, he's a rookie. He's got major bounce and my pick to win the dunk competition. But it's just, I already know this dunk competition is going to be a letdown. They need to move it to before everything and to highlight this year's three-point contest. Unfortunately, Damian Lillard dropped out of it. But we got Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, Jason Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell. So you got big names in there. You got exciting players in there. What do you think? Who do you think is going to take home three-point championship? I think they really wear it as like, I'm the best, and that makes this actually means something. Who do you think you got?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to see the guys in the three-point contest in the dunk contest instead of those guys.
Zach LaVine, Donovan
that
Mitchell.
sounds like a good group.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like a lot of the three-point contests, I feel like is about the guys who don't have an easy stroke, or they have an easy stroke and not a lot of bounce in their shot. The guys that really get a lot of air under their shots seem to tire out by the end. So I don't know. I think maybe like Jason Tatum would have a good chance of winning.
Ooh.
Taller guy, doesn't need to use a lot of energy to get a shot up. I also really like Zach LaVine. I think he'll come out.
He's one of those guys that
ready
just
to
jumps
go
too high on his jump shot. You know what I mean? Like those guys that.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking that too, but I think he'll be amped up to go.
Yeah.
Being in.
This one. He clearly likes that all-star stage. So, I'll go with Steph Curry because I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, and it's probably the only contest he would maybe win. So I think Steph Curry, he wants to get one ahead of Clay, I think, and take that to his buddy. So this also brought up another question for me. What across all sports, there's all-star competitions. What is your favorite all-star competition across all sports?
I really like the home run derby. I like the new format of it with the timer.
Yeah,
rather than the outs.
Yeah.
I think that really brought a lot more excitement back to it.
How fun was that last year?
Yeah, super fun. And I love the aspect of like some guys bring out their dads to throw to them and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it makes you see them on a whole different level. The guys on the sides bringing them Gatorades and stuff, and it's just what's more exciting than a home run? Like, and you get so many of them.
Shootout competition, that's pretty good.
I still feel like no one's trying.
Yeah.
In any other competition,
right?
A home run contest, you can go full out because you're not going to get hurt, really. Like,
yeah.
The only thing that happens is guys get in bad habits when they go back to their regular season, swinging for the fences. But
right.
You're going full out. You can swing as like guys, no matter what, in an all-star game. As much as they say, "Oh, we're trying to win," like no one's going full speed. But in a home run contest, it is what it is. You got to hit a home run.
I just saw, I saw all these clips of different all-star events. I saw the NFL. They took this away where they went with the longest throw in the NFL, and it was awesome because it was Brett Favre and all these guys trash talking each other and just bombing away. I'm pretty sure Josh Allen would just give him the championship for that contest. But I would love to see that one come back. And
I love the dodgeball at the Pro Bowl.
Who's the king of dodgeball? He is it Juju Smith-Schuster? I think he's like
I don't remember.
It was someone who he didn't actually throw the ball ever. He just caught them. And that's how he won.
Oh yeah.
I forget who it was.
I remember that.
But I guess that's the thing. It's about the level of competition. If people really try, it makes things so much more fun. And I would love to see.
That was Jarvis Landry.
Exactly. Yeah. Unbelievable. That's how I play dodgeball as well. But because I can't dodge fast enough, I have to catch it. But I would just love to see them like just go crazy for whatever like the competition level of everyone. Like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird back in the day, whatever they did, they didn't care. They just wanted to win. Bring that back. Where's that been? So yeah, that was just my little rant. I love All-Star Weekend. I'm looking forward to it still, even though, it's probably not going to be as great as I hope it to be. But maybe Sunday's game will actually be good because they have the Kobe Bryant format once again. So it ends on a buzzer beater. So at least the last quarter is 24 points. First to 24, win by 2. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Drew, anything else going on in the sports world that tickles your fancy?
I'm just excited about baseball, getting back into it,
Yes.
and excited to have something to watch during the day. Like afternoon baseball is the most relaxing thing to watch on TV.
Yeah.
No matter who's playing, like the crack of the bat and hearing fastballs go into a leather glove, like those are two of the sweetest sounds in my opinion.
Yeah, and it is. I would say probably. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I was just gonna say it is very relaxing. It's enjoyable. The NBA and NHL season games, they can get boring. They do, and even though baseball is just kind of the same. It's the same even keel kind of way. Although October baseball is super fun. Is way more fun than anything else, but. It's just something different. You're right about baseball. The new have you taken a look at the new Jays training facility?
No.
In I think you pronounce it Dunedin, Florida.
Dunedin.
It's absolutely phenomenal. You got to take you guys can see it on our Instagram. I think somewhere on there. You got to check out the new Jays facility. It's unbelievable. Let's end like this, Drew. Sports Reverend Drew. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with you and your church and all that good stuff and what you're excited for. And I'll do the same after.
Well, it's been nice the last couple of weeks getting back live in person. We've been strictly online since right before Christmas. I think that's when we went back into lockdown. We've been allowed 10% of our regular capacity. So we've been running 2 services, and starting this Sunday, we're up to 25%, which means we could go back to 1 service, but we might keep it with 2. But yeah, we're just excited to start doing stuff. We're doing a food drive for the schools. There's a weekend lunch program that we fill up lunch bags for kids that might not have enough food for the weekend. So the teachers go around and give the lunch bag in the student's bag on a Friday afternoon, so they have enough food to go through the weekend. So that's something that we're excited about starting up. And
are you doing any
we're
coaching?
just excited. No. One of my friends that I coached last year, he's the only reason why I coached AA last year, and he made his high school team this year, and they already had their coaches in place, and then the season got canceled anyway. So only coaching I'm going to do from now on is probably going to be for my boys, because Cooper's starting hockey this year with Timbits, so I might volunteer there.
Awesome, buddy. That's unreal. I'm pumped for you. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Training up your boys pretty good, passing along your wisdom and your veteran level. You actually played pretty high level hockey. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but you played pretty high level hockey. So you got a lot to give in that area. So for me, it's finished my first month as a lead. And it's been different for sure, and just still trying to get my feet set. A lot of things here at our church in downtown Toronto is partnerships with other businesses and other churches. So it's been cool to kind of connect with a bunch of different people. We're still in state of emergency here in Toronto, so we're strictly online for everything. But we got some awesome works in the plan as well. Our Urban Hope Kids and Youth program is working on securing our own facility where at least minimum at least renting a facility where we have a gymnasium where we can run a basketball program, and hopefully we're working on a soccer program as well where we give kids that are in the inner city here who don't have the opportunity to play on those elite level teams. We're going to try to create our own club elite level team as well and give the kids some opportunity. Our big idea is to have it all sponsored and paid for, instead of any of the kids paying any money, they pay in volunteer hours. So that's kind of one of our hearts and thoughts. So we're going to be looking for some coaches and things like that as well. And speaking of coaches, hopefully the coach that's on our show, he'll be coming out to Toronto as well for his job and his work, and my plan is to put him to work, be part of our program director for our Urban Hope Basketball Academy or something like that. That's what I'm working on. So yeah, man, it's fun. It's a lot of fun going forward. Once we can get back together and all that stuff, it'll be even better. So yeah, that's it. I forgot to hit record for this podcast, so we won't be submitting one into Anchor and putting them out to the rest of our podcast platforms, so my bad. But next week when we go live, I'll make sure we hit the record button so that this is pretty much what our podcast looks like. So hit the record button so people can listen to it offline as well. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks. Shout out to Cody Allen. He joined in, said what's up. I wanted to shout out the Hockey Minute podcast. They're a new podcast starting up. I promised them that I would give them a shout out. And I'll probably tag them in on Instagram on something as well, since I'm not putting out our podcast as a regular recording this week. But the Hockey Minute is a new podcast, new to Instagram. Go follow them, go check them out, and there you go. Shout out to all the other boys as well. Braden Keppel, what's up, my man? Ben Council. I think we're gonna have a conversation with Ben Council going forward, Drew. He wants to talk.
I don't want to talk to him.
He wants to talk about Wayne Gretzky. Is Wayne Gretzky the GOAT?
I don't want to. Does he know that Wayne Gretzky's retired? I don't even think he does.
Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, Ben Council. I think we gotta have a short conversation with him because we have to keep a time limit for him because he can talk forever.
Was he a 2 or 3 time Summit Ball Hockey Championship? I don't know. He'll tell us.
Ben, that's his. Yeah, how many trophies has he won? Yeah, shout out Colin Beauchamp. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in. We will be back next week. The coach will be here as well, and we'll see you guys later. Peace out, world.